WD18, welcome to your post-match pint, live here from the Mad Squirrel. Unfortunately, it finished at Vicarage Road. Watford 1, Cardiff City 2. The long unbeaten home run has come to an end. The very last home game of 2024. Joined by Charlie Zazzera. Charlie, how are you feeling?
Miserable.
He's got Ali Pally to look forward to later, though, at least. Bit of darts to liven up the mood. And David Cameron Walker, football cliches, and from the Rookery end as well. David, I'll start off with you. Was it a case of Cardiff being good or Watford being poor?
I think it was a bit of both, indeed, today. I thought Cardiff were quite a poor football team. You know, they did a number on us today. And if you give away two relatively cheap goals like we did, pretty poor defensively from us on both of them, then you allow a team like Cardiff to sit back, to make it hard for us, to time waste, which they did. And we didn't manage the game very effectively. And you know, it was just a disappointing afternoon for us, a disappointing performance. Not a lot of positives out there from many players, really. And I thought the one bit of the game that we did well in was after we conceded the first goal, we actually did well to work our way back into the game. We were really patient. You know, there were a few groans from the crowds when we were keeping the ball and passing it backwards and passing it along the defence, but we were really patient. We worked our opportunity and we took it when it came. But then we conceded that goal so soon after, we were right back to square one again, and we never really worked our way back into the game in the same way after that second goal.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought throughout that second half that Watford looked like that we were ever going to score, to be honest with you. I think we could have played for another 90 minutes and we wouldn't have scored. What do you think went wrong today? Because, to me at least, it looked like we just run out of imagination and creativity.
I think from the start, like, I don't say many bad things against Cleverly, but I think one thing, you could tell he wants to play with a back four. He wants to get as many attackers on the pitch. But I just don't think we've got the defensive players to play with four at the back. That opening goal, the ball get moved across the spaces between Porteous and Pollock for Callum Robertson to turn around and find the corner. And then, again, for their second goal, we kind of got cut open and Larousse was the wrong side of his man. Another poor goal. So I think we look so much better when we have the three at the back with the wing backs a bit higher up. I just don't think we've got the personnel, and I think that's just put us on the back foot. And there's only so many times you can keep grinding out results and having little bits of luck here and there. But I just think I admire the way he wants to play and get as many attackers, but I just don't think the balance is right, and I think that put us off to a really, really bad start today.
I mean, the poor starts this season have been a running theme throughout, particularly at home. You could argue that against Portsmouth, as good as that ending was the other day, that was really, really poor in that first half, and we've seen it a few times this season. I mean, it's a bit of a case today that the luck just ran out, isn't it?
A little bit. I don't think we were unlucky today, but I think that that result has been coming probably. There's been a lot of home games this season that we've won by one goal that could perhaps have gone the other way and we could have lost or drawn. And you know, that Portsmouth game on Boxing Day was pretty similar, really, in terms of the pattern of the match, the style of team we were playing, but in that game we got back into it and we kept the momentum up, and actually it did dissipate, but we just got that last minute goal because we did keep going, whereas today we conceded that second goal and that really was the crucial moment. But even with that said, coming out in the second half, I still felt if we got the goal in the second half, if we'd scored in the first 15 minutes of the second half, I believe we could have gone on to win that game maybe by even more than one goal. So I really do think we're a better team than Cardiff. But I just think, you know, we suffered a bit having Georgie out on the left today, even though he scored, which was great to see. I think it's better when when we play the 3-4-2-1 and he's one of the two number 10s and he's in the middle of the pitch, or even when we play a 4-2-3-1 and he's in the number 10. So today, because of Barr's absence, he was the kind of guy that had to shift out left. And Kayembe played in the number 10 and you have Vatter on the right. And I'd much rather see Georgie in the middle of things. But yeah, look, the run had to come to an end at some point. Typical that it's come against a team like that when we've beaten much better teams than them at times this season. But maybe it gives you can, going forward, perhaps cleverly can use it in terms of positive motivation to the players and say, look, come on, you can't just expect to turn up every week at the Vic and just win. You do actually have to put in a good performance.
Yeah, 100%. Dave just mentioned a couple of players there who potentially struggled a little bit. Chat for Tatsy, I know he scored, but on that left-hand side, I don't feel like he looked like at his absolute best. Any other players today who you potentially thought struggled, particularly in that first half?
Doesn't need to be first half. I think there was a lot. I think Larousse, I know you're a big fan of his decision-making on the left. I think Sissoko's confident. I don't know what you think, Dave, but he just looks so... just not confident, not at it like he was at the beginning of the season. He had a really good moment in the first half where he kind of got his body in front of a man and all he needed to do was either drive or pass it to Ebeselli, and he made a poor pass. Kayembe I don't think's great when he's a bit deeper. I think Loser was okay in the first half. Bayo not great again. So again, like I said, I just think the balance was kind of all off. Matty Pollock probably the best player for me. Again, don't think Ryan got the joy he would normally get if he was playing as a wing back. So yeah, it's just one of those days. Like Dave said, I thought they were average at best, but they've done a job on us. They shithoused their way to the win. And yeah, we need to take our medicine and go again. What do you think the biggest problem was today?
I think it's an area that I've looked at over the last few weeks is the midfield for Watford. Particularly at Burnley away was an area that I thought we really struggled in. And I think, not a large part because it's a whole team, but I'm looking at Moussa Sissoko as someone who is the Watford captain. And I'm just looking at him at times just thinking, put your body on the line a bit more. I want to see a bit more running from him. And I just thought today there were too many times he was pulling out of tackles, making the wrong decision with his passes. And from an experienced player, I just sort of expect a bit more from him. I think there is an element as well. He's probably playing a bit more football than he potentially expected to at the start of the season when he came in as well. Sissoko, Dave, I don't want to dig out too many players today because I think ultimately every player has a lot to work on going into QPR. But do you see problems in that midfield area?
Yeah, I think it's been an area of the team all season where we have seen a lot of changing of personnel. Cleverly's been searching for the right mix, the right balance of whether it's a 2 or a 3. Sissoko's had a bit of a time out of the team recently, a few times where he's come off the bench and obviously had his suspension as well. It wasn't a good game from him today, and his form has declined. I think he was playing much better in the first part of the season than he has done in the last sort of month or so, or 6 weeks. Maybe that's an age thing. Maybe that's like you say. Maybe he's played more games than he thought. But again, he did have that little break. He has had time out of the team recently. So maybe that we shouldn't necessarily give him that excuse. He's an experienced player. He's played at a higher level than anyone else out there on the pitch today.
It was him and Tom Delly at the start of the season, wasn't it? And they were there as a 2, and I thought they were pretty solid. But since Tom Delly's come out of the team, I don't know if he's fully the answer. I think Luz has really improved, but it's just not right. Dave, what do you think our best midfield would be if we had no injuries? What do you think Tom would go with?
I think the re-emergence of Loser in the last sort of month or so has been a real positive for us. And it was a shame that he got booked today, because I think we really missed his ability to help us control the game in the final stages today. You had Ince who came on, and he can't do in the same way that Loser can. He's not a deep line midfield player, Tom Ince. Whereas Loser's looked really at it recently. Yeah, the performance against Portsmouth was one of his best, I think, ever in a Watford shirt. I think you have to have him in there. I think Deli Bashiru's injury is a real cause for concern. It doesn't sound good in terms of the language coming out from the club around managing his injury. That sounds like that's something he's going to have to live with and try and manage throughout his career. Kayembe is really hot and cold, has his moments.
He's not a deeper midfielder, is he? I think he does his best work as a 10.
Yeah, he's had some good moments this season. He contributes with goals. Scored a good penalty the other day. He nearly scored another one afterwards. But also has moments in games and periods in games where he just looks off it. Bad control, passes aren't, not making his passes and that sort of thing. So I think that is the area of the team where, and central striker are the 2 areas of the team where we have the most sort of inconsistency and the biggest quandary in terms of who are the right players to play there. But just going back to Sissoko, I mean, I think he does have a part to play in this squad and this team. I think his leadership and his experience is probably quite helpful for the group overall. Came off the bench the other day and helped us win the game. But games like today, he's never been a player in his career that's going to kind of really turn a game and kind of get his foot on the ball and help you control a game. He's a player that will run and will be athletic and will perhaps find himself on the end of things or find himself covering. But the older he gets, probably the harder it is for him to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And at half-time, I think any of those players who started today could have come off. It was Ryan Porteous who came off for Francisco Sierralta. But I just wanted to ask you, Charlie, about the substitutions generally in the second half, because Rocco Vata came off, Imran Louza came off, who were probably the two bright spots for Watford, I say. Cleverly's now come out in the press conference afterwards and said that they were both managing injuries at half-time. I think I saw Vata at full-time when they were clapping the fans. He had ice on his knee. So hopefully it's not too serious, but subs were a bit frustrating today, weren't they?
Yeah, so Porto came off as a straight swap. I thought they might go back to the back three. I think they did it against Portsmouth, which kind of gave us a foothold to go on and win the game. But I think Porteous had a bad game today. I think last couple, after a bit of a renaissance, he's kind of dipped a bit. And yeah, Vata, there was a bit of a groan, wasn't there? Obviously, we are managing minutes, I didn't like him as much on the right side. Compared the fact that we got the goal from him just putting the ball in, I was saying to you, like, put balls in, stuff happens. Sissoko actually made a good run to create the space for Georgie, but I do prefer Vata kind of cutting in on that left side on his right foot. And then what were the other subs? Jefferson, obviously, for Bayo, and then Louza because he was on a yellow or managing his minutes. Who did we bring on? Ince. You know how I feel about Ince. So, yeah, I think Jefferson's probably the only right one there, and it's tough for him at the moment. Again, from the angle, that chance, long throw, I think Sierralta or Ebeselli got the head on. Sierralta touched it in. Felt like he moved his feet wrong, or he could have stayed, and it's just not falling for him at the moment. You can see the endeavours there, and the attitude, I think, has improved a lot, but I'm just not sure with Jefferson. I really want him to do well. But Dave, do you think he's going to stay?
Well, in January, I don't know. We don't know the details and the terms of the agreement as to whether we could send him back or whether Bournemouth might pull him back or what. We'd obviously need a replacement if he was to leave. But he's come back. You know, there was a time when it looked almost dead cert that he was just well out of things because he wasn't even getting on the bench at times. But he's been involved recently. Started obviously against Portsmouth and probably had his best display in a Watford shirt for what it was worth. I feel sorry for him a little bit because, I mean, that's not the first time he's missed from a few yards this season.
The screenshots won't be kind.
No, I mean, what I would say about Jefferson is his head's not fully dropping. He is getting into those right positions. Just can't finish, can he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be sleeping much tonight. I think you know that's the sort of chance you're going to be replaying over and over and over in your mind. And from my angle, it looked simple. It looked like he just had to get his head on it, or even, I don't know, even let it drop and just chest it in, or just get something on it. It was so close. There was no one there. And I think it did affect him. I mean, sort of immediately afterwards, he kind of had a little moment where he was sort of pressing and went into a few challenges and got a bit of an applause from the crowd. But after that, it seemed to me that it might have played on his mind. We had a few other long throws, and he kind of he wasn't really going to the back post. He was sort of in the huddle in the middle, and you don't want a player to hide. And I'm not necessarily saying he was hiding, but he's definitely short of confidence. That's very clear to see. A more confident player than him probably scores that chance that he created for himself against Portsmouth when he was clean through the other day. But at the moment, he's in the squad and he's going to get minutes, and we do need him to score a goal just to help us and just to help him to become an effective member of the team, because I think there is something there. Clearly there's something there. Enough clubs, Bournemouth have taken him, Sheffield United gave him chances, he had a good spell at Burton. There's something there, but he's looked way off it so far, and that was the big moment in the game. If he scores that, I think we go on to win the game.
Yeah, 100%, because we've seen how quickly things can change at Vicarage Road when you get that goal in the second half. And a player who has played a key role in getting us over the line in games this season, particularly in first halves when things haven't been going well, when we're shooting towards the rookery, is Quadro Bar. Now, Bar got sent off the other day, obviously, for a video that's gone viral, did a Fortnite dance in front of the Portsmouth fans and the Portsmouth players, got a second yellow card for it. Cheering up. And it's good to see Charlie smiling after that, at least.
It's a token.
Now, I think it's going to split opinion, but I feel like that's almost come back to bite us today, Charlie. As funny as it was, and, as good as the shithousery was from Quadro Bar, I think a reason why we perhaps lost the game today is because of him getting sent off.
I don't think you can say it's solely for that. I think
I think it's a big reason.
Yeah, there's a reason. We know how impactful and productive he is for him. If you look at all of our goals, he's got a huge percentage this season in playing a role in them. So yeah, it is an impact, but I think we said it on the last one. We knew this conversation was going to come up, but you live in the moment. You're getting abused all game. He's giving it a bit back. Would he have got sent off if the Portsmouth player didn't run towards him? Who knows? But again, he's played a load of minutes. He's got a bad injury record, so I'm not focusing on him not being there or his what he did as part of the reason we lost. Like, I want to see him straight back in the team against QPR, being a menace on that right wing, and hopefully getting us another Loftus Road win, because that is exactly what I want to start the new year.
Yeah, it'll be a good medicine, that. Where do you sit on the Bar situation? Has your view changed on it after what you saw in the game to now, or were you frustrated all along?
Look, in an ideal world, Bar wouldn't have got sent off. Bar would have celebrated a different way and would have helped us today, because we do need all of our best players on the pitch. If Bar was available today, he probably starts, Vata probably doesn't, and Vata's the sub that comes on in the second half when we're chasing the game. So Bar's not available. We have to shift things around a bit. As we've mentioned, Georgie's now on the left. And who comes on for Vata? Vesti Ebasele, who didn't really do much when he came on, isn't a right winger. He's an attacking full-back, wing-back, but he wants to come from deep. He doesn't really want to get the ball high up and then have to do something, as you saw right in the last seconds when he, couldn't really do anything when he got the ball in a good position. And so it's frustrating. I think the margins for us are so fine this season that we need all of our best players available as much as we can. Because we don't have you saw today, because him not being there, you looked at that bench all of a sudden, you were like, there's not really a game changer on the bench in the way that there has been when Bar or Vata are there. But I don't necessarily blame him for doing what he did. I think he's still young. I think you get caught up in the moment. He was clearly getting a lot of abuse from the Portsmouth fans, and there was a lot of needle in the game with the players, and I don't blame him at all. Sometimes you react like that, and in the moment we were all loving it. Like, come on, son, give it to them, and it was great watching him getting chased by the Portsmouth players. So look, these things happen. But it is a shame that he wasn't there today, because he's one of our best players, had a really good season, and he would have helped us.
So, luckily for Watford today, while Watford lost, results did go Watford's way, meaning it's still in Watford's hands.
So are you saying, are we playoff contenders?
I think you have to be when you're at this in the top six.
Of course we are. We're still sixth today, and we could have gone fifth if we won today. But we are in the clutch of teams who are looking at fifth and sixth. I think the top four, you'd be surprised if Burnley, Leeds, Sheffield United or Sunderland, in some order, don't finish in the top four. And then you look at us, Blackburn, Middlesbrough, West Brom, and now you've had a couple of teams catch us up at the back of that pack today in Swansea, Bristol City, Sheffield Wednesday are also there. Norwich pulled out a point late on against QPR today. So there are teams in that pack, and we're in that pack. And we went into this season thinking it could be a difficult one, thinking maybe we'd just like to be safe or just get mid-table and just keep Tom for the season and have a nice time. And that's all fine, that's all valid. Maybe people still think that's okay. But we find ourselves here, and it's nearly halfway through the season. We are now at the end of 2024, and we're sixth. And we have got good players. Maybe we're not the biggest squad, as we've discussed. We haven't got the most depth compared to some of the other teams. But other teams are dropping points. Blackburn lost today, as you mentioned. Middlesbrough have had a little wobble lately. West Brom have lost their manager and are in a bit of a difficult situation. Why can't we think that we could get into the playoffs? Other teams in recent years have done it. Luton obviously did it and went up. Millwall have been close and have been around it the last few years, you know. Yes, there are always big teams in the Championship. We've been one of those. You have parachute payments and you're up there. But there's usually space for one or two to try and get there. And we have to believe that we can do it.
Definitely.
It's popped up now.
It's going to be about...
Yeah.
Who'd have thought you'd be seeing that after today's defeat? Listen, it's going to be about picking ourselves up, going again, and no better place to do that than Loftus Road on Wednesday. Charlie,
The tin.
what do you need to see at Loftus Road to almost, you know, put your mind at ease again that Watford are in this top 6 race?
Can we sign Jake Livermore? Is he still a free agent? Nah, just win. Just win. Obviously, like, we need a better performance after that because we were miles off it today. I feel like it was a stodgy 0-0. We should have been beating them, but I think they've had a bit of resurgence. Marcy's a good coach, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a big game. I just want us to win. If we can start that year in 2025, we'll get going again. And we've got good bounce-back ability, as a phrase that used to be said, so I'm hoping that we see a good performance.
It's a big game. It is a big game. Look, and I'm going to bring things down a little now after my staring words. I think this is the sort of game where if we go there on New Year's Day and we beat QPR, the confidence is still there, and then we go into another big game, a tough game against Sheffield United on Saturday. And the week after that's we've got the FA Cup game against Fulham in the week, which is a bit of respite in one way. But if you lose to QPR, who have, as you've said, Charlie, they have picked up. They should have beat us at the Vic, really. They have looked better in recent weeks, even though they lost 3-0 to Swansea, I think, the other day. So they're still up and down. They're still down there, and we still should be confident of going there, matching them, and trying to win the game. But if you lose the game to QPR, then you lose to Sheffield United, then you have that break. You know, all of a sudden you've lost 3 in a row, and it doesn't take much for it to go. And that, again, that's how finely balanced things are. And what we've done well this season is the home form has propped us up because we've had those long spells where we haven't got points away from home. So when you lose a home game, as we have done, that means you then have to go away from home and get a point or get 3 points and keep that momentum going.
100%. Let's wrap up with score predictions, Charlie.
3-3.
3-3.
Oh.
Loves a 3-3, this man. Still hasn't happened. Dave?
I think I would take a 3-3 all day if you offered it to me now. That would be fun, wouldn't it? We're 3-0 down. We're 3-0 down, and we're going to come back to 3-0.
Last minute, Jefferson, the redemption arc. I think New Year's Day last year was a 3-3 draw away at Plymouth as well.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I think we'll get a point. I think 1-1.
1-0. That's fair.
What do you think?
Ooh. I think bounce back ability. I think 2-1 Watford. I think another 2-1 win at Loftus Road. Thank you so much again to the Mad Squirrel for having us down today. Thanks to our viewers as well for putting up with me presenting. Jacob, not here today, unfortunately.
We missed you, Jacob, on a technical and spiritual level.
And the makeshift setup today as well. David, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to check out Football Cliches and From the Rookery End. And Charlie, as always, I'll see you on New Year's Day at Loftus Road. Will I be seeing you?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Well.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Make sure to like and subscribe, WD18. Check out our partnership with Hertfordshire Mind. Another goal scored today, where we're donating £1 for every goal Watford score this season. So every cloud, and we'll be back for another video soon. Up the Hornets.